Welcome back to Single Mom Honey, the podcast dedicated to single moms with a focus on health, money, and everything in between.
Quay, and I cover the health.
And I'm Aisha, I cover the money. So let's go ahead and say it. When you hear the word single mom, sometimes it seems to be synonymous with child support because somebody got to support these chillins, all right?
Somebody.
Meaning, and it's usually who? Bang, 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 bang. You, baby.
Yeah, and for some reason, there's this ideology that child support is what actually supports the kids. Like it's actually enough, and that somehow I am secretly living off of the child support.
Then that doesn't mean that it's enough. That means you're getting way more than you need. That means you're getting a surplus if you're living off of it. That's the notion that some people believe when it comes to child support. I have seen videos of guys, boys, who would like to have an itemized list of every single item that is purchased with their child support each month from the mother. If you wanted that, you should have just took care of your family the way you should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wouldn't say stayed because your situation is just like mine.
Active. You would know if you were active because child support is just only touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to caring for kids. I sit here and think I can't even personally calculate the child support. I can't be hey, I can count on this for this month. If it comes, it's like a Christmas miracle, but not even for Christmas. It might get me Christmas cookies. It ain't covering nothing else. And for most of us, I feel like me and you, we have to take care of the kids despite whether or not we get child support.
Absolutely.
It's a blessing if you get it, but you can't count on it.
And even if you do get it, I know someone who gets child support every month, $50 a month. Okay, that's insulting.
It is.
Or $200 a month for 2 kids or something like that. That sounds
Try
crazy.
between 100 and 200 for 3 kids.
Anyways, okay, so we know child support is not enough. We know it's not enough. And for a lot of us, it was never designed to be,
Right.
And if we're being honest, some of us surviving despite child support, not because of it.
Exactly. And this isn't a bitter baby's mama. First of all, we are not baby's mamas. Anyway, okay. I'm just saying, I got a phone call one day and somebody's like, is this such and such's baby mom? I said, excuse me?
That tells me more about you than it says about me if you come and label anyone. And even though we are divorced, as in we had our children after we got married, but also even if you didn't have children during a marriage or before marriage, whatever, I would still never call a woman a baby mama. I don't even like calling guys baby daddies.
Me either.
That's weird to me.
So again, this is not a bitter conversation. It's a real one because there are way too many single moms that are silently struggling to make it all work. And silently meaning that we just fight these battles day in and day out. And no one's really listening, but we are.
Exactly.
So when we talk about support, people actually think just about money. But what about the mental load, emotional responsibility, being the default parent 24/7, 365?
Exactly.
There might even be an extra day in the year if it's a leap year.
Yeah, and if we really want to look at it from a financial standpoint, because finances really do matter. Like you say all the time, these kids eat every day. Every day. It's not a day. It was
multiple times a day, though.
Oh, yes. It's not a day. Like, you know what?
With
you guys
snacks in between.
Because mommy's on a budget, so we're only going to eat Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now, if your dad pays child support, then you might get a treat Thursday. No, that's not what happens. You still have to be able to provide. And financially, when you look at the numbers, let's put the numbers on it. Raising a child today, costs over $200,000 over time.
Absolutely.
That's food.
That's crazy. And so, first of all, I'm like, what is the average salary? Is that for one child? Raising one child?
For one child. That's per child.
That's one child. Listen, you got two.
I thought it was $250,000. I mean, $500,000. No, seriously, I thought it was $500,000. So this is my first time hearing stats about it being $200,000. I don't think that's correct. I'm not sure we're raising a child of $200,000 in this day and age, but I thought it was $500,000 per kid. But that includes food, childcare, school, clothes, activities, basically everything. You want to be able to provide for your child, not only meet their needs, but it would be nice as a parent to meet their wants as well, because we think back to our childhood and how great and wonderful it was. I didn't know the money issues that my mother was going through when I was a child because she handled it very well. And
You
I
know what's
hope to be able
crazy?
to provide the same thing to my children.
I would like to be able to do that, but I feel like my kids know. Maybe since they're a little older, they know when I get paid.
What?
They do.
They got your schedule on their phone.
They got my schedule ingrained in their brain. Like, this is pay week, right? Because in all honesty, like, it is just me. And sometimes I have to have that conversation with them. Like, we have to wait
Yeah.
until mommy gets paid to do that. Like, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they need to face reality. Like, it is difficult doing it by yourself. And if you are faced to do this by yourself, you will have to budget. Like, I never get a full payment of child support. Never get a
I haven't
full
got a
payment.
full payment of child support in 2 years.
Yeah.
I
2
mean,
years? Like,
2 years.
I feel like it's been
Have you
over
ever
5
got
years.
regularly scheduled child support payments, like a good
Never.
stretch of 6 months straight from the time that
Never.
order went through?
Never.
What's the longest stretch you ever got child support, like on a monthly
On time?
basis?
Maybe
Yeah.
1 month.
You've never gotten 2 months in a row?
No, not 2 full payments in a row. Typically, what will happen is it's like a cycle. It'll be like 1 payment and then a partial payment and then maybe no payment. Sometimes skip a couple months and then I got to go back to contempt court. And then it's like a purge payment.
Just to keep himself out of jail.
Yes,
Or to
yes,
get
yes.
out of jail.
So, like, another interesting stat would be that only 43 to 45% of custodial parents receive the full amount that they're owed each month.
That's not even half.
That's not even half.
I'm surprised it's that high based on our personal situation and also, friends and family members that I know who, then again, I have cousins who pay child support. They haven't missed one payment in 8 years.
Since who pay child support who haven't missed payments. My male
And
cousin.
not only that, have their kids half of the time. So they are spending money for 8 years straight every single month and then have their kids half the time, if not more. Like,
well,
I think
feel
that's
like
wonderful. And these are my male cousins who are on
my
top
male
of it.
cousins take care of their kids too.
Yeah.
But I do think it's like, it's a family thing. Like, that's why it's important to, like, really see the structure of your partner's family prior to engaging with them.
And
I really
sometimes
believe
that's
that.
not even a factor also either.
I
Because
get it. But I think, like, when we talk about my case, like, his dad was a Rolling Stone, right? I don't know about your ex's dad, but, like, I mean, he was
about the
just like,
same.
he was going to follow in those footsteps. But also, it's a personal choice because, whether the dad was there or not, you have a choice to do the right thing or not to do the right thing. Because he also has brothers and they take care of their kids. Like, so I think it's a personal choice. Like,
Absolutely. That's why I feel like I don't know if you really choose that as a factor for when
yeah,
it comes to responsibility, but it does matter because a lot of people
yeah,
come from families where they make excuses for them no matter what. Like I
exactly.
always say, and this is from me observing your situation before I end up having my own, is that
Yeah.
people care more about the reputation of men than they do about the wellness of women and children.
The
If you're all
safety of
included
women.
together, if there had to be a scale between the other two, men reputation is up here. The wellness of children and women are
And
down
women,
here every
way down there.
single time.
And let's be real, like, child support isn't the safety net that people think it is. Like, they're like, isn't he paying something? Isn't he just giving you something? Isn't that enough? He's trying. Whoa.
Never had that. Hope to never hear that.
I've heard all types of things. And I'm always in awe of the complete, like, negligence that the court system has when it comes to child support here in PA and on the part of the people who are advocating for him during child support hearings and all of that. And they also act like it completely negates the fact that I work full time and take care of everything. Like, it's horrible. Like, every time I go to court, like, I used to take a lawyer with me, but, like, I realized that I was just paying child support to the lawyer because.
But it's true. In my situation too, it's like I'm getting this attorney to still owe money for what money is owed to me that I'm obviously never going to see. So,
and I was like, this is crazy. And I got to pay for college next year for one of 3 children, so I don't know. We are carrying the financial load. The custodial parent is carrying the financial load. Like, I pay for everything. Child support, if it comes, might be money for Dunkin's for the kids or me. Like, shit, it's paying me fucking back.
Yeah.
For everything that I do. Like, it does not really amount to anything. Like, imagine like paying, like if it was just me here in this house, my electricity bill wouldn't be that high. My gas bill wouldn't be that high. Like, I could ice skate in here for real, for real. I would not have this heat where it's at right now. Like, you know what I mean? And then the weather here in Pittsburgh, I think somebody in the Oval Office is playing with the fucking weather button because it's been summer, spring, winter.
Girl, it snowed yesterday here in Ohio. So
it hailed here yesterday. It hailed, sunshine, rained, all in one day. I say, you know what? The weather is about as predictable as the child support. So let's talk about this. About 80% of custodial parents are mothers. So being a single mom is a real thing. Like 80% of single parent homes are ran by their moms. And Black women are disproportionately affected by this issue here. We are more likely to be the custodial parents, carrying all of the loads, let's be real, it can be a burden. We love our children. It doesn't take away from it, but it is a lot. It is a lot to do everything by yourself.
Absolutely. And, there are different things that come along with just the financial load. You mentioned before, the mental load as well, and the emotional load that goes along with it. Because when child support is inconsistent, you don't have that stability to land on. You don't have that, I know for sure what is coming into this home, and I know for sure what is going out. It is just not enough, and it creates
It just adds to the stress. It adds to the stress.
And the anxiety on top of already worrying about the well-being of your baby. Now I got to worry about if I'm going to be able to meet their needs, not just their wants. So
exactly, meet their needs and like juggle the time.
Yeah.
Meet your needs, their needs, the needs from work, society, everything else you do. It's like, if you can't even depend on the child support, it's like, everything's on you. And then what if something else happens? Like
you can't plan. You can't plan. You can't prepare. So you're constantly adjusting. And if we have to shift our mindset when it comes to child support, because if you're dependent on that money to carry your household, you're going to stay in survival mode. And we both know what being in survival mode can do.
It's not healthy.
Deteriorate your health. Exactly. Your health
it is not healthy.
Impacted. It's not sustainable. So
no, it is not.
Yeah.
The system was built to like fail us for real. Like, and that's what I've learned time and time again, going back to court over and over again. Like, I don't even file court hearings. Their dad files court hearings for free. He stopped paying his lawyer early on. The lawyer figured out he was fighting for him to lower his child support. But what he didn't know is that he wasn't going to get paid either because he just has a history of not paying people. It just exhausting. You're carrying the load. You're going back to court because somebody is just trying to find a way out of not taking care of their responsibility. And I
don't know how that could be allowed to be.
Me either.
Filing these fraudulent motions, because that's what they are. It's just trying to stall the inevitable and eventually get to the point to wear you down where you just said, you know what, forget it. Forget it. I'll just do it by myself like I've been doing. Forget it. Like,
and there's so many moms who do that. They just get so fed up and then they just be like, forget the child support. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. Mark my words, I'm not going to forget because
take this to court.
I'm going to forget. I am doing everything I can to make sure the kids are stable and they have a stable home life. They have balance. They have the finances they need to have the best life that they can, that I can provide for them. But you will pay for it. Not now, but later, one way or another. I think what like some people fail to realize is if they keep taking you to court, like, yeah, you may tire some people out. That's cool. That's cool. I stopped paying for a lawyer at this point. I'm not paying. But it can come out of your Social Security. It can come out of any of those other payments later in life. Like, you don't get away scot-free. So,
But they really do. They really do look at that. But then it makes you think, like, is the child support system broken? If this could happen, or are we expected too much from it? Like, there's but so much you could do to make any individual do anything. The court can only do so much as well.
I get it. It's like, as a mom, you have to subsidize for this broken system over and over again.
For this broken parent.
You're right. But the parent's broken, the other parent's broken, and the system is broken. So you got to pull time where time does not exist. You got to make up money. I find myself always trying to figure out another way to increase my income. It's like I got to pay myself child support so that I can make ends meet. I got to find another avenue. That's why as a single mom, you have to have, unfortunately, you always have more than one stream of revenue.
Yeah.
And then, God forbid, you make a little bit of money. No one is out here trying to help you. Think about childcare. Think about summer camps. I mean, you
Oof.
name it.
I don't
Food,
even want to think
extra
about
snaps.
summer camp.
Wait till they get home for the summer. Crazy. And then,
Snacks
most
on snacks on
importantly,
snacks.
it's like, how do you have time to take care of your mental health when you
You
got to take
don't.
care of everything?
You don't. And going back to my question about whether or not the court system is broken,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest, and I believe it's both.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the system isn't perfect and it was never meant to fully provide for a household. That's what two individuals, mature adults, are supposed
Exactly.
to be able to do outside of someone else telling you to do it. But when you have an emotionally immature other parent, I refuse to use the word co parent, especially in my situation. If you have a co parent where
I don't
you
have a
don't have to
co-parent
tell them
either.
how to parent, then you are winning, sis. You are winning.
Yes.
Other parent, biological parent. That's the best way I could put it. It's hard. It is hard on your mental, and then I also feel like it impacts you financially because you're worn down to the point. Sometimes it's hard to budget. It takes time and energy and focus to be able to budget.
Absolutely. And
Budgeting
it's,
is not easy. That's why a lot of people don't do it.
yeah, and it's not fair. Like,
No,
it impacts
there,
your goals. You said, it almost made me think of Lion King when they said, I laugh in the face of danger.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
but anyway. Anyway, we talked about it, shifting our mindset. We talked about the controversy, whether or not the child support system is broken. We know that it's fucking broken. What do we do to shift our mindset? What are the solutions? What have you done? You drinking something?
Yeah. Sorry, I was just drinking water.
Oh, okay.
Take long. What have I done? I don't depend on it. I have given up on expecting any dollar and any cent. And if I do receive anything, as you said before, it's a surprise. Maybe we could do Chick-fil-A. But
Exactly.
other than that is nothing that I look forward to. Would I like to be able to be in a position where I didn't have to script and scrape in order for us to make it to the next paycheck? Absolutely. Would I like to not have insomnia where I'm up in the middle of the night thinking of ways that I can make money so I'll be able to pay daycare or be able to pay daycare and the mortgage? Yeah, that would be nice. But
Right.
it's just not my situation. It's just not the cards that I've been dealt with. So I do with what I can. And that usually means praying. That means no longer hoping and just dealing with the facts of what it is. I used to get
I
mad, but I don't get mad anymore.
don't get mad either because, after a while, you just kind of accept. You just got to roll with the punches because it's just it's not coming. You don't know when it's coming. It was to me, if you hold your breath for child support, you're going to be dead.
Mm.
And I got
My
shit to
whole
do.
thing too is I don't know if you dealt with this with the other parent for your children, but
I don't really even feel like I had, there's
you
the
ain't even
other
let me finish my
biological parent.
question.
Girl, because you said the other parent, there was another parent that was parenting. In my mind, I can't even take it. Like that, there is nobody else parenting besides me at all, except for the aunties.
Well, like I was saying, I don't know if you have dealt with this with the other parent of your children, because
Mm-hmm.
let's get to the facts here, or two of you. I know
Okay,
only one's heavy
biological
lifting,
parent. Okay,
but they have the
donor,
nerve to have an
sperm
attitude.
donor.
They
Uh-huh.
have the nerve to have an attitude when you bring up the fact that you haven't received child support. Or if the discussion around the children concerning child support is brought up. How dare you talk to them about child support? That's not a discussion you need to have around. What? But you're not doing anything. These aren't lies that I'm speaking. I
Right.
remember with his other child's mother, she spoke to the children about child support, and he was so upset with her that she said something to the children that he's paying child support. I don't understand.
I
I
don't
don't
know why
understand
people
what the
think
issue
that
was.
kids don't talk. We're not the only single parent homes. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Kids know. And also, a lot of the time, I have found in my experience that their other parent may not want things shared about him in what he considers a negative light, right?
Disparaging.
Yeah, but he'll be like, yeah, I pay your mom child support. I don't know what's happening, but then they're like, well, dad said that he gave you money for us. Girl, I ain't received nothing.
So it's
Like,
like, who's telling the truth and who's lying?
yeah.
That's horrible to play with kids' minds like that.
Yeah, I'm a big
That's
believer in just being honest. If they ask me something, I'll let them know. We're not gonna sit here and pretend
yeah, I
because
don't sugarcoat either. I make sure it's child appropriate for the conversation and human. But at the same time, I do not lie. I do not expect my children to lie. I give them the facts of what they can handle. And that's is what it is. But I definitely budget without it. Like you said before, we treat it like it's extra. It's not guaranteed income. And that's very
Exactly.
sad. That's
Something comes in.
extremely sad if you look at it.
Exactly. You wanted that thing, maybe we can go grab that for you today because a little bit of extra money. Because it's
Yep.
never enough to cover a full bill. It's never enough to cover the groceries. It's never enough to like actually do something impactful for the family as a whole. It's not enough. And again, when you said earlier that it costs over $200,000 to raise one kid every year,
Mhm.
like that's wild.
Not
And
every
it's
year,
true.
over
Oh,
the course of 18 years.
no, girl, that's a lie.
That's why I
That's a
said
lie.
that was fake,
That's a
because
lie.
one, I said it was like a half a
I thought it
million.
was a year. I was like, girl, because
No.
I need that that job to pay $600,000 a month.
It might even be $1 million from 0 to
Listen,
18, tell you the truth.
I agree, because I'm like, there's no way. And like, even with me having to order for child support, I still cover the health insurance. I still
So do
cover
I.
everything. So it's like,
I have
the
never
least,
paid for health insurance for myself from the time I got married to now. I've always carried a family plan because I was the one with the stable employment, that I didn't have breaks in my employment. I didn't get laid off. I
girl,
didn't get fired. So
that is
I
one of the
always
smartest
carried.
things to do.
Yeah.
I will say this. I tried one time when I was married to let the kid's father put us on his insurance. And
How long was that coverage?
I think maybe 2.5 months.
I thought you about to say 2.5 years. I was like, I know you
Oh,
fucking
girl,
lying.
no.
That sound about whack, right? Actually, that's when the other shoe was like, I'm ready to drop.
With no warning. I was just like, wait a second. There's not insurance. Letter in the mail. Nope, you ain't even said nothing. Like, and it's just so important to actually
Look,
build a
before you get to
support
that
system.
point,
Go ahead.
when we were doing our divorce proceedings
Mhm.
and we were finalizing everything,
Yeah.
my attorney, his attorney was there, my attorney was there, the magistrate, we were going through all the paperwork, and my attorney like, wait, is this right? You're going to cover the children's health insurance? I said, yeah. And then his attorney looked at him and was like, why was she? They've never heard of that. These two male attorneys, even a magistrate was like, are you sure you want to cover the children and health insurance? He and I know what it is. He had no shame at all. He was in the hotel like, nose up in the air, feeling all dainty and sassy. And I was like, yes. And for a moment, just a slight moment, I had this warm feeling of shame go over me that the man that I chose to marry and have children with couldn't even be dependable to provide health insurance for the children that he helped create.
And that's a
And the
harsh
looks that I was
realization.
getting in the courtroom from all those other people was like, I've never seen the mother write down that she was going to cover the health insurance for the children. It's usually the father does that. But if you're sure, they asked me 3 times, girl. I said, Dad, can we get over this? Yes. I know who he is. Yes.
Exactly. And you need to know who those people are. Once you realize who they are, believe them, because otherwise you're just going to add extra stress.
I never put
Everything
them
else
on
you
his
have to carry.
insurance ever.
Yeah, I tried it one time. Never again. Never
Oh, no.
again.
He never even offered it because he knew what it was. Oh, and a year later, he ain't have no job. Ain't had one since. So it's been about 2.5 years now.
Well, see, I had this struggle of, for a long time, I hated the word entrepreneur because this man kept saying, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. I was like, is that like equivalent to saying I am unemployed? I am a deadbeat.
Starving artist.
Something like, because it was like, every time he said that, he said it with so much pride, but I was like, it brought nothing to the table. It didn't bring any security for the children.
In a moment, and that's all that matters. What you mad about?
You're right. I will say this. The last time I was at court, when he was trying to get another decrease in his child support that he already doesn't pay, he started talking about his obligations. And for the moment, I thought to myself, is he going to say he has an obligation to his children? This man said he had an obligation. I shouldn't have held my breath, but I was curious. I looked over. He's like, the judge had mentioned to him that, it appears that you are still actively catering and doing all these things. Every time you come here, you say you're not working, but you're all over social media. He said, I have an obligation to social media. Now, that's the first time I heard that shit ever. He said he had an obligation to social media to keep up his appearance so that he could book more gigs. Not so that he could book gigs to take care of his kids, but just an obligation to keep up his appearance so it appeared and people might hire him. Now, mind you, he is a able body. He could work. He could work anywhere. Like the level of manipulation and complete negligence and just like irresponsibility he has to pay child support is it's remarkable. It's remarkable. I will say.
Wow.
Like, he goes out of his way to like avoid any way to pay the full amount. Like it's just crazy to me. In that moment, like it was just confirmation. Like I knew that the kids weren't a priority to him. So, you know, a lot of times I think people struggle with child support and they're like still worried about it because they want to make this partner realize that they have an obligation. Honey,
you can't do that. There is nothing that you can do to make another individual do what you want to do. You cannot. That's called making yourself fucking insane. Why would I voluntarily do that when I got everything else on my shoulders? And I have seen that with my own eyes. I have seen women crash out to try to force a man to be a father. You cannot do that. You can't.
There's nothing you can do.
Can't. Why are you wasting your energy, sis? Why are you wasting your time, sis? Why don't you use that to better yourself for you and your babies? You cannot do that. And a lot of men use money to control. Like financial abuse is something that we have discussed before. And I would like to go further into that in the future on this on the podcast, because a lot of men only support children when they have access to the mother. If they no longer have access to the mother, if it means emotional, physical, sexual, then they're not going to support the children.
And that is absolutely true. I've had the kids' dad say to me, if you were nicer to me, I would pay more child support.
Guess what? I was hurt. See, I think they're the same people. I think they are the same people, because I was told if you would just get your foot off my neck, then I'll be able to help you. What? If you would just get your foot, and he repeated it because I said, what? Outside the courtroom. If you would just get your foot off of my neck, then I'll be able to help you. My foot is not on your neck because I want it to be. It's because it needed to be.
Yeah. Like, I mean, honestly, I would have never even went to child support, to the court system, if I had someone who was a willing partner to, we could have discussed this. If you wanted to, you know, carry and share the load with me, cool. Like I would have been okay outside of court. But like court was like a last resort for me. It was like, I can't get you to do anything. I remember I kept hearing, you can't get money out of a rock. You can't get water out of a rock. You can't do this. I mean, if I ain't got it, I ain't got it. Like I started getting that attitude all the time. It's like, oh, but you got new shoes. You got new this. And it wasn't just like, everybody's entitled to get new shoes and new things, but it's like, you can't be wearing Gucci and Prada and all this other shit and then turn around and be like, yeah, I can't pay that child support. Like, that's wild. Me and my kids match a lot because I refuse to like buy crazy things and not be able to take care of my kids. Like, you know what I mean? If I can have it, they can have it. So if they can't have it, I ain't buying it. Like, you know what I mean? I can't afford it then. If I can't afford it for all of us, because me and my kids, we're a unit and we all got to look good together. You know, got a budget for it. You know, is the kid's father in arrears when it comes to child support for you?
Absolutely. He is currently, I believe, $30,000 behind. I know yours is way more than mine. I know it's a little tiny peanut compared to yours.
No, it's not. That's not a little tiny anything. But yeah, I am like nearing $70,000 in arrears. Literally. This is not an exaggeration. None of that. And it's really, I want to say the total unpaid child support arrears in the U.S. is approximately $1 billion, right?
Okay.
So it doesn't really like make me hopeful, you know? I mean, at this point, I'm just a credit collector, but I ain't making those calls to harass him, you know?
No, he's the one harassing you.
I know.
I owe you money. I want to reduce it. You don't get no discount on this. Kids don't eat off a discount.
Last time I was in court,
discount.
Yes, the last time I was in court again because he was trying to reduce. Because the oldest child is 18 now, and in PA you got to cover kids until they graduate from high school. He's trying to get out of it now. She just turned 18 in December. You ain't even been paying, but he want to get out of it. He was like, I need y'all to recalculate my arrears. Arrears stay with you. A large portion of arrears.
Recalculate.
It's not. It's not. He was in there telling this judge, yeah, that one year I made like $400,000, but I had to pay out $500,000. Sir, make it make sense. It's like America's dumbest criminal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he said, yes, I see that you made that amount of money, but it looks like you skipped months without paying your child support. He said, I had to pay my staff.
Girl, this is making me upset.
I know. No, and it just makes me wonder because you're in Ohio, and I think like other states, like they don't allow people to get so far behind on child support where they can have the ability to amount these crazy numbers when it comes to arrears.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. It's only difference between Ohio and PA is that you have a commonwealth where we don't. Well, child support order is automatically an order where it's taken out of your pay. There's no he gets to pay on his own when he wants to pay it, want to add it. No, if you have employment, as soon as that Social Security number hits the system, Ohio Department of Child Family Services, click on that Social Security system and send a letter to the employer. The employer has to apply that withholding order within, I think, 30 days or something like that. If they don't, they get penalized by the state.
Okay.
So then they do it automatically. There is no way where you are able to pay somebody on your own time in the state of Ohio. It's automatically an order, withholding order.
Yeah, it's crazy. I guess maybe the loophole here is like parents who work for themselves and they just have
that's the same thing here too. Yeah.
Okay,
if they do that, then they just pay whenever they want to pay. But they still going to suspend your license. They're still going to put an order in that maybe you have to have a warrant, a bench warrant for your arrest. So they do that as well. It's just
that's
you
been
still have
happening
a
here for
job
years.
and still pay on your own. Like that sounds crazy to me. That's why you got to order in the first place because you're not responsible enough to do it on your own. So
because you won't. That's why we're here in court in the first
we
place.
have given you the opportunity to do it on your own, and you have proven time and time again that you are not capable of doing so. So withholding order in place effective immediately. Thank you.
Yeah, and then
put me on the bench. I'm like,
I can see you. I can see you doing that.
Let me hear this right. Let me make sure I get this correct. Now you correct me if I'm wrong. Like I would just be like, yeah, no, none of that sound right. The math is not mathing, including the $70,000 in arrears. Jail time.
Exactly.
And you gonna work in jail for 50 cents a day to pay the $70,000 off. Which one
you
rather
might be
do?
there for a
50
long
cents a day in
time.
jail, or you rather do $50,000 out and free? Which one is it? But it's gonna be a withholding order. You no longer are responsible for being able to send in your payments because you cannot do that. The maturity level that takes is too high for your capabilities. Thank you.
So what I always hear when I'm in court, well, or he's always saying, like, if I go to jail again, how am I going to pay? But sir, you're not paying anyway. And I feel like some people definitely need to just be on timeout. Because it's like that freedom and that lack of accountability, they just keep cycling over and over again. And chance after chance after chance. And I'm like, the moment I don't take care of my kids, I'll be on the news. They be like, let me take her license here, there, and everywhere. Now, they have taken his passport, and every time we get to court, he's like, I need my passport back because I got some opportunities outside the country. The opportunity to flee? That's the only opportunity I see because how you got opportunities outside the country but none here?
Exactly. I'm glad they don't fall for that because that's utterly ridiculous. So I'm glad that they don't listen to him and his lies because that's exactly what they are. And like in situations like this, you have to laugh to keep from crying because
yeah, I agree.
I don't know about you, but I have this black hole in my heart when it comes to this person and when it comes to the expectations that would have never been met, that would probably never be met. So when there are instances of child support that comes into play, either we receive it or we do not receive it, it does not impact me. It does not change my anxiety up. It does not lower it. It doesn't do anything other than it is what it is. Because you can't get too hung up on it. As we said before.
I agree. I think that comes with growth, though. Like, you know what I mean? Because initially you be like, man, fuck.
Yeah, initially, because they out there running your mouth. Yeah. So
it's not worth the stress.
No.
Like looking for it. Like you got other shit to do. You can't even be. It's like looking for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Exactly.
There ain't no fucking pot of gold over there.
Looking for a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah.
No.
If you find one, just keep it. Like it probably ain't coming from them.
No. So you can only control what you can control. You can only focus on what you can focus on. And child support is not one of those things to me.
But one thing you can focus on is your health.
Yeah.
And you can take control by getting on PrEP.
True.
Listen, we got to prepare for everything. So we got to prepare for the instance where we don't get child support. Why not prepare so that you don't get HIV, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the numbers are going up. Women are disproportionately affected by HIV, and PrEP can help give you a little bit more control back when it comes to protecting your life and being ready for whatever comes. Because that's what you got to be as a single mom. You got to be ready for whatever comes. PrEP is over 99% effective against the sexual transmission of HIV. And just like we don't know when the child support is coming, we don't know when people are infected. It doesn't have a look to it. You know, sometimes people look great in the beginning. They look like they're going to be supportive parents and co-parents, and it doesn't work out. And unfortunately, that's the same outside. When you go outside, you know, a lot of people don't know their status. So it's important to know your status. If you have any questions about PrEP, send us an email, send us a comment. We can point you in the right direction. No. It'll have the link to, in the show notes, we'll have the link to Central Outreach Wellness Center.
I could not. Okay. And then also when it comes to PrEP, being a single mom, we have to protect ourselves and our children from the world. And the best way for us to do that is to make sure our health is top tier. Like Quay mentioned before, we don't know what is out there. We don't know what is going to be coming in when it comes to the money and everything else.
Exactly. But you don't want something coming in your body.
Exactly. That as well. So protect yourself for not only you, but also for your babies. Get on PrEP.
Exactly. Because protection is not only financial.
This is true. So you are not behind. You know, you are under supported, and it's an unfortunate situation, but it is the facts. And that's just a different conversation or a different expectation that all of us had. But guess what? We're doing it with grace. We're doing it with beauty. We're doing it with laughter. And our children probably can't tell the difference otherwise.
Exactly. And the goal is not perfection. Kids don't need a perfect mom. They just need a happy one. You know, so a happy, protected, peaceful mom. You know, we need stability, peace, and we can't control everything. But the things that we can control, like our health or protecting our health and budgeting for our finances, we can do that. This is Single Mom Honey. I'm Quay. I cover the health.
I'm Aisha. I cover the money.
You bring the tea.
And we got the honey.
See you next time.
Bye.